I launched 3 products that completely flopped. Zero sales, zero traction, and probably less than 1,000 visitors on any of these products together. But I just figured out what I was doing wrong, and it has nothing to do with the products themselves. So here's what I miss. I had no audience, literally zero. And that doesn't mean I don't have connections on my LinkedIn or I don't have followers on Facebook or Instagram. That means that all the people that I have, the connections, they're actually not interested in my persona. They're just my connections. If you don't have an audience, people that are keen to see your new posts or they like your comment, sometimes your connections is not your audience. You having your grandma on Facebook or Instagram and you're launching about AI feature for your business, your grandma won't actually care about that. She might like it because she's your grandma, but she's not your audience. She's not your end user. And I think that's one thing that I realized that took me a lot of time. Is like the number of connections actually doesn't matter if you're not speaking to the right person. When you launch without an audience, you're relying just on luck. You're basically hoping that the algorithm pick your content and show to people and you get shares, comments, all the engagement metrics for your content to become viral. And you're hoping that someone will care, but most of the time they don't. So I just kept failing and honestly it sucks. I thought maybe I wasn't fit for this sort of influencer or digital creator lifestyle. And then I decided to take a leap of faith from my job. I literally quit my job and my main goal was I need to learn how to make money. And that doesn't matter if it is online or offline, anywhere. And I managed to get a few paying clients. And that turned out to myself a validation that no matter what I set, I can actually achieve it. And I actually realized since I have left uni, I've been working non-stop. I never had a break. Most of my holidays were very short. And actually what I needed was a rest, a reset from my life and just focus on the things that I actually liked. And throughout this period, I understood about marketing, about sales, about how to get clients. And one thing that I realized is I just needed some time to understand about myself. So here is exactly what I'm doing right now and what you probably should be doing yourself as well. You should build your audience with 3 content pillars, not random posts like I used to do, not hoping something goes viral. It's just 3 strategic pillars that do one of these 3 things. Education, show what you know, behind the scenes, share your journey, and value bombs, which is quick wins. Each of these pillars has a purpose, and together they build trust, authority, and momentum. Let me break down all 3. Pillar 1 is education. This is where you teach something specific. For me, that's developer tools, workflows, and tech reviews. For you, might be design, marketing, fitness. Usually is what you're building your product or your own personal brand around. But here's the key. One thing I was doing very wrong is I was trying to be too broad and too vague with whatever I was teaching. And nowadays I realize that whenever I was looking for specific posts or things about my area, they were very specific, they were very niche to that specific either issue that I have or a solution I was looking for. So one thing that you can build authority, avoid being too general and try to be way more specific. So instead of teaching how to code, you can teach how to build a REST API in 10 minutes. If you're a marketing person, you don't teach how to market. You teach how to write a Twitter post that gets 1,000 likes. The more specific, the more credibility you're gonna have with your audience. So the pillar 2 is behind the scenes. This is one that I struggle a lot. I think maybe because my generation is the transition between the let's be in the streets and play together to let's play video game and let's be on the computer. Because I feel I got in between this transition, I am not good enough with expressing and being honest and vulnerable on the internet. But this is one thing that people actually are looking for. Nowadays we have AI literally everywhere. And one thing that we don't actually have, if you realize, is we don't have people being honest, people being vulnerable, people being relatable. And that is something very powerful, something that we want. Most of the times I don't realize, I think it's like intrinsic into our brains, right? But we are looking to relate to that person speaking the camera to us. And in that case, I think you might be watching this video because you relate to me, or you're trying to relate to me. You're trying to understand whatever I'm talking over here. So the same thing works for anyone else. Whenever you're sharing a content or things behind the scene, you should also share those moments where people usually don't see. And this is why podcasts nowadays are getting so popular, because they interview very famous people that nobody knew about their lives. And during that time, they share about what they do, what they like to eat, or what specific hobbies do they have. And that's very interesting. This is why podcasts get so popular, because everyone is interested. And basically, videos like this one that I'm sharing about the content pillars, basically what I'm doing behind the scenes is I'm rebuilding my entire content strategy because the old one doesn't work. And basically what you want over here is to build this emotional trust between you and me. So the last pillar is the value bomb. And it's basically what I also avoided for years in my life. I always avoided giving my secrets, giving my knowledge to people. But here's the thing, if you're building content online and you don't want to share, you just want to gatekeep. You're not going to build yourself a reputation. The main reason is because you're gatekeeping everything and you have nothing to give to anyone. One thing that's very important is the value bomb. What sort of content or templates or things that you want to share that you can share with your community so they can see how useful you are to their lives. So for me, I put some of these templates on Gumroad, such as how to use Canva to design, or another one which is NAN automation to build business proposals. So what you want over here is to give something back to your community. People think, if this free thing over here has this much value, imagine what the paid version will look like. You're planting seeds, you're building goodwill. And when you ask for money, people will be very inclined to say yes. Now you might be asking yourself, so how do I pick these 3 content pillars? So here's the framework I use, and you can use as well. So the first question you should do yourself is, what do I know that others want to learn? In my case is content creation, video editing, and also workflows and automation about programming. The second, what journey I am that others can relate to. So in this case, I'm in the journey of building my personal brand and making money online. And the third, what I can give away that gives instant value. In my case, is this video. And here's the best part. I used to think that I need to be an expert. I need to know more than anyone. But actually, I just need to be one step ahead of my audience. What I mean by that is, definitely there will be people that know more than you in marketing, know more than me in programming, and that's completely fine. But the thing is, if I can know just a little bit more than my audience, someone who is watching me and they find that valuable, means that I already achieved my goal. Because we are not here to please everyone. We need to know our audience and just be able to help them out. Now let me explain why this is the thing that works. So most people start backwards. They build a product and then they try to find an audience. But now what I'm doing is I'm building an audience and then I just build products because I have an audience that listens and I can talk with them freely.